Well, I thought I'd do another video today. It's the end of January, the 29th it is, and I'm still sat here contemplating life. Some days I have a lot of words, but most days I just think them to myself. It's really funny because when I get chatting with my sister, I can chat for like 2 hours. We both chat about the same thing every day for 2 hours at a time. Most days, that is. And so I do have a lot of words, and sometimes if I see a friend, or speak to a friend, should I say, that I haven't spoken to for a while, I think, well, I catch myself, it's now that I have to think, oh, can I say this? Can I tell them what I'm thinking? And then eventually it all comes blurting out what I want to tell them and what I want to share with them, because to be honest with you now, if I can't be myself at this time of my life, if I can't tell the truth and be myself and be true to myself, and people don't want to hear what I've got to say, then I'm not interested in them anymore. I'm moving on with my life. Me and my husband are both moving on together. We both see everything the same way, so I'm really lucky that way. You know, all of this division, that all this making everybody basically prisoners in their own homes, not being able to see friends and families. This is really, really, really bad, and I know everybody's saying, oh, it's for the good of all of us. I don't think it's for the good for all of us at all, and nobody's going to sell me that idea, and I'm not listening to it because it's ridiculous. It's divisive, just like many other things that's happening in this world. But you know, I've always been the sort of person that I can't stand things like horror films on telly. I never have wanted to watch horror films, and anything that's nasty, it really gives me sort of pain inside. And it's the same thing that I was talking about in one of my earlier video. You know, when you see anything to do with a child being hurt or upset or murdered or things, it really resonates with me, and I feel that. It's the same when I'm the same with everything though. I can't bear an animal to be hurt. I can't bear it. It physically makes me feel sick. Some people are just made that way, and I'm made that way, and I've always had this innate feeling all my life about justice. I remember, you know, when I was younger, when I was first employed, I was on a very low wage. All of the people that I worked with were all on a very low wage, particularly the people who was all in the offices. And I went and asked I went to see the boss and told him straight out, you know, we want a pay rise. I want a pay rise. I need a pay rise. And he said, well, I'm going to give you a pay rise. I'm going to give everybody a pay rise next week. And he gave us all a pay rise. So I was really happy about that. But I've always been forthright in my views. Some people like it and some people don't. But I don't know. I don't really know what I want to say to people, but start to question things. I mean, is it really right that you must have thought at some point watching all these vampire movies and all these series on TV glorifying vampires, you must have realised that this is not good. This is just sort of normalising it and thinking, oh yeah, it's normal. It's not normal, and it's not a good thing to watch. and it's not a good thing for our children to look up to. We need to give our children good, wholesome lessons in life. We need to teach them about nature and love. And I know most people, I know you all do, show your children love and, you know, and give them the best. But we really need to monitor what we watch and what our children see us watching, and think to ourselves, is this acceptable? Is it acceptable that we're having all of these electronics in our house? You know, all of these phones and speakers, you know, like the Alexa speakers and all that. That's, to me, that isn't good. I don't think it's good for us. And I know we've come a long way with the internet and everything. It's been fantastic for that. But all of these things is not good. And the other thing, there's another thing. What about, nobody seems to want to know or even know about chemtrails. I'm going to talk about it because chemtrails are real. Now, if you want to know anything, you need to get used to stop using Google. And I know I've said Google, don't use Google because it's bad, and it is bad. I mean, look at just a few years back. We were all told, oh, you're not allowed to keep data on people, you're not allowed to keep names and addresses because of data protection. What a load of bull crap that was. It absolutely was, because these companies keep all of our data. They're looking at us all the time. They're probably looking at this video now, you know, and they keep all our data. Nothing's private. You can't say anything or do anything. And they're there, these big companies, telling us that we have to throw away data that we've collected maybe from somebody, or... And it's absolutely nonsense, you know, especially like all these small businesses get to know their customers, you know. And it's ridiculous that we have to abide by such nonsense rules. Anyway, now that we're out of the EU, hopefully we'll have to be able to get rid of that rubbish. But, you know, it's the same with blinking Facebook and what's his face? Not Jack Dorsey, that's Twitter, isn't it? I mean, I got banned off Twitter, you know. I got censored just because I was putting on tweets supporting, you know who I support. I support President Trump, and I will always support President Trump. But I got banned off it because they don't want anybody being seen to show support for President Trump. Now, to me, that is absolutely disgusting, controlling what people say. You're not free in this country, you're not free in this world. If we let them get away with this, it's ridiculous. I'm not having anybody. I was born a free sovereign person. I was born, nobody asked my permission if they could rule my life. I'm not being ruled by anybody. It's about time we stopped and looked at what was going on. You know, all of this, oh, I can't even go into the fact about the truth about your birth certificates. We're all signed away. Once we have our birth certificate done, our names are in capital letters, and they can sell our birth certificate on the stock market. They trade us. They've been trading us all for blooming centuries. Most people, we just want a quiet life and we just want to get on with our life and just do what we can. People say, oh, I don't care, it's not my problem, I ain't got shares in it. You know, but why, I ask, what sort of a world are we leaving for our children? And our children's children? What sort of a world are we leaving? It's ridiculous. What you need to do is, really, we all need to start questioning when we get told something. Who the hell said that the government is going to be your mum and dad? They're not. They're not interested in looking after us. They're just interested in us working and us taxing us. We're getting taxed for more and more. All the time. It's not right. I mean, we buy houses and then we get taxed every blinking month to live in the flipping sodding house. You know, what do we get for our tax? Hardly anything. And this is where it really infuriates me. We're all sold these ideas and notions, and people just sit back and accept it. No, well, I don't accept it. It's idiotic. I'm not accepting that. I don't mind paying my way, and I don't mind being part of a society if it's equal society, but it's not an equal society. Things have been happening these last few years in this country that's absolutely abominable. Ordinary people of Britain have been attacked and nothing's been done about it. And then what has happened? Police, they don't want to stand up for ordinary British people, especially white people like me. But then if you get somebody else, it doesn't matter whether, if they're, you know, usually it does go down to colour of skin, and I've got some lovely friends who are dark skinned. It's nothing to do with it. But it's got to such a way that all the virtue signallers and all the social justice warriors have been shouting at people, you can't say this, you can't say that, you've got to call your kid XYZ. It's ridiculous. And it gets too close to home. I know of somebody whose child was sent home for not wanting to call another child a girl when he's a boy. Now, don't even try to tell me that that's acceptable, because it's not. The truth is, the boy is a boy, not a girl, and to chastise and really abuse a little boy for saying something that he knows to be true, what sort of message are we telling people? Don't give me any rubbish about saying, oh, you've got to look out for them. Do you really believe that? Because if you do believe it, then there's seriously something wrong. But I don't think you do believe it. It's just that nobody wants to tell the truth, and nobody dare tell the truth. But society as a whole, we've got to get back to some decency and morality and fairness and goodness. Do you know what? I pray every day. I pray every day. Because I've had so many times in my life when my prayers have been answered so many times. And so I'm very optimistic in that respect, but I just feel I'm just going to say what I think and speak my truth, and that is it. I'll tell you what I do like though. I must say, I really love the quiet skies. The peace and quiet outside. I mean, I'm sure all the birds and all the animals must notice a big difference with not having many cars around and so much, and I know a lot of people are still going to work, but you know, it's really good for the planet that we don't have too many aeroplanes all over the place. It's nice and quiet and peaceful, but it's a travesty that people are being kept away from each other. This is totally wrong, and I for one would not be afraid to talk to other people. Not be afraid to send a letter of complaint to the councils and to the people who are so-called in charge. They're just getting paid for nothing. They're just getting paid for absolutely nothing. Same as all the services, the doctors and the dentists. They've all been paid, they've all been trained. And what are they doing? Hardly anything. I'm sorry, but I don't care anymore.